When I walked into Kampiringisa National Rehabilitation Center, I expected to see bars and broken spirits, but what I found instead were classrooms, workshops, and young faces daring to dream big. In 1952, the Kampiringisa National Rehabilitation Center was established to accommodate children in conflict with the law, with the aim of rehabilitating and protecting them until they complete their rehabilitation program. The government is mandated to provide for the welfare of these children, and we have established that efforts are being made to fulfill this responsibility. However, due to increasing demand and the changing economic environment, the center continues to face serious challenges, particularly in ensuring a sufficient food supply. Although government support exists, administrators say it is not always enough to meet the children's daily needs. Another challenge is the state of the old and dilapidated buildings, many of which have not undergone major maintenance since they were constructed in the 1950s. Administrators warn that this exposes children to risks such as mosquito-borne illnesses, airborne diseases, and other health hazards.
Dilapidated structures, completely. The structures that were constructed, I think, during that time, they're in a very bad state.
While the government is making efforts to meet its obligations, the burden remains heavy. For example, the center currently has no vehicle, a challenge that becomes particularly significant when officials need to return to communities to reintegrate children after rehabilitation.
But the government is working around the clock, the ministry, to make sure that this institution is allocated with a vehicle. So it becomes quite a challenge when we're doing resettlement and we don't have a vehicle.
There is also the issue of land. Kampiringisa originally owned 377 acres of land under a title deed, but that acreage has steadily reduced. Today, only 114 acres remain. According to the center's administration, the problem began following a presidential directive in 2023 that allowed part of the land to organizations for development. The agreement reportedly involved the establishment of fertilizer factory, but administrators say the project has not materialized.
63 acres was allocated to Maiv, NFLC. 100 acres was allocated to Songhai Model Project. And 100 acres was recently in 2023 allocated to Itracom project, fertilizer factory, for a fertilizer factory establishment, meaning that the land has kept on reducing.
They further claim that instead of constructing the factory, some of the beneficiaries are engaged in farming while also attempting to acquire additional land.
In fact, Kampiringisa, the National Rehabilitation Center, has remained in a small middle place between all these other organizations. It becomes a bit of a challenge because now, for example, when the project, the fertilizer factory that is already going to be established here, we are going to interact with a number of I don't want to call them intruders, but those workers, the workers who will be here working, will have access to this institution also and access our children. It is likely to be a challenge, but the minister, I think, has proposed to gazette, to fence off.
Administrators fear that if the matter is not addressed, the center could eventually lose the capacity to grow food for the children under its care.
We have children who need food.
Sure.
The government gives us food, yes, but we cannot sustain without, like any other mother, like any other family. You cannot keep 200 and plus or 300. By the way, last year in December, we went up to 450 children. Yes. We did marathon, they released funds, we did resettlement until when we came up to this level.
They now appeal to the president to intervene before the matter goes out of hand.
Me, I would still fight, Jocelyn, I want to tell you this, because this institution must have land. We cannot survive without food.
I know.
We cannot, never. Because now, the children will end up beginning to steal food from around. They will move and look for food.
As Kampiringisa National Rehabilitation Center marks 74 years since its establishment, the challenges highlighted in these stories demonstrate that there is still a significant need for further investment and development. The time has come for greater attention to be directed towards improving the facility and the welfare of the children it serves. Jocelyn Nachibole, NTV.